Welcome to Tuscany, one of the most beautiful places in the world with some of the best roads. And we're here today to ride the Ducati Hyperstrada. This is a touring version of Ducati's new Hypermotard, and it goes head to head with that other supermoto that's gone touring, the KTM SMT 990. What makes this bike a Hyperstrada are the bits that make it more comfortable on long journeys. So it's got a softer seat, a lower seat, higher bars, a screen, it's got panniers as standard, and it's also got a bit of a nod to off-road as well. You've got a sump guard and dual-purpose knobbly tyres. In a big Ducati nod to safety and practicality, the Hyperstrada's got traction control, ABS, variable riding modes. It returns almost 50 to the gallon, so that's a theoretical tank range of probably 140, 150 miles. And you can also buy a load of touring accessories out of their catalogue, which include a top box, sat-nav and heated grips. In theory, it should be as mad as a supermoto and as comfortable and as cosseting as a touring bike. But let's find out if it really is. To test the Hyperstrada to the max, Ducati have brought us here to Tuscany, and we're going to be riding the bike all day. So being in the saddle is going to test its touring ability, but also we've got some fantastic mountain roads to play on, so hopefully highlight how well the bike handles and how much fun it is through the corners and coming out. It's a very smooth and easy bike to ride. The throttle response is absolutely perfect. You've got different riding modes. You can have low to power, soft power, maximum traction control, turn it off, different ABS levels. Everything's there for you. It's very, very friendly. The suspension's really compliant, really plush, rolls into corners beautifully. The Hyperstrada is very, very comfortable. It's got a good wind cheating screen, gives you much more wind protection than the Hypermotard would ever dream of doing. It's got a comfy seat, loads of leg room, and you get very few vibes from the engine coming through to the rider. And now we've stopped for lunch in a beautiful town square somewhere in the hills of Tuscany, and only in Italy could you come and park in a historic place like this on a red carpet. It sounds like this bike ticks all the boxes, and it does for a rider like me. As a sports bike nutcase, this bike is really, really good, but there is a but. And that but is it's a very small bike. So if you're a big rider, you're going to be very cramped on it, because at the end of the day, it still is a supermoto with a fairing on it. So you're sat very close to the front. You can almost bite the screen, and it's quite cramped two up as well. It's also quite soft, and it's quite easy to grind the bike out left and right, especially with its centre stand. So if you're ever going to take this on a track day, which you could, you'd probably need to take the centre stand off and jack all the suspension up. Even though Ducati have invited us out here to ride the Hyperstrada, I've actually got my own one as a test bike over the course of summer 2013. Done quite a few miles on it already. I've already changed the tyres, because I think that if you're not going to take the bike off road, those dual purpose tyres are a little bit of a waste of time. Best to put normal road tyres on for maximum grip, which is what I'm after. We've also put it up against the KTM 990 SMT, and against that bike, the SMT is roomier. It's got a little bit more power, it's got 5 bhp more, a little bit more torque, and it's probably the bike you'd go for if you wanted to do really big miles, and if you're a bigger rider and you're going to take pillions a lot. It's also more stable as well. When you push this bike hard, just like the supermoto it's based on, it starts to get a little bit of a shimmy on. Not unstable, but you can definitely feel the bike dancing in your hands, and if you don't like that feeling, the SMT is going to be better. So that's our day done. We've had a fantastic ride on the Hyperstrada. We've seen some beautiful sights, and we've come away from it knowing that the Hyperstrada is basically still a mad supermoto that you can go touring on and that you can do practical stuff on it, like ride to work. You know, you could stick your shopping in the panniers, you could stick your spare shoes in there and actually use it as a day-to-day bike. So what it's really done is given the Hyper Motard a much wider appeal.